Hey guys, this is Derek with Automatic Door and Hardware. Today we are going to be looking at the Horton C2150 control. Now this is going to be used in all their sliding door systems. The older ones, this is going to be your old style control. The newer style control now has a display. That'll be the 3150, but we'll look at that in a different video. So here is the C2150. This is how it looks. You have your connectors here for your motor. You have your connector here for your power, and that goes to your power supply. And then you have your terminal connections right here for your switches and sensors and stuff like that. You can see this control does have a display. It's got a 2-digit display. And right here is the chip where it usually will label out what version you have. And I'm going to kind of go over these versions. So this one is a 2150. It's a version 2. Version 2 is going to be for belt drive sliders. So if your slider runs by using a belt, then a version 2 could work for you. So let me backtrack here and give you a couple things to look for. So the first thing with a Horton is to always look for the belt. Is your system, is it a belt drive or is it the linear drive? The linear drive does not have any belt in it. It has a cable inside of it, and it has a long 1/2-inch rod that the doors ride on, and that's what powers the motors. So first thing is to identify that. Second thing, you can look at the version of your control right on that chip. And there are some discrepancies with these versions. So for linear drives, you're going to use a version 1 control, or version 1 control all the way up to version 10 are going to be identical in the way they work for a linear. If you do not have a closed monitor switch, which is going to be closed monitor right here, this is the D5 light, and it's associated with the pin 9. If you do not have a closed monitor switch, then you have a version 11. So that works for both linear drive and belt sliders. If you do not have a closed monitor switch where there's a switch that the door hits when the door comes fully shut, then you are running a version 11 control. You need to make sure to get a version 11 control. You can use an earlier version of the control, but you'd have to then add a closed monitor switch, because the version 11 chip can determine where the closed position is, whereas the earlier controls like this have to hit that switch and let the control know, okay, I'm closed. Again, so if you have a linear drive, you're going to either be using version 1, you could be a version 10, you could be a version 11, but again, the big difference here is going to be whether you have the closed monitor switch or not. Now for the belt sliders, you cannot use a version 1 control. Version 1 is only for the linear drive. You would be using a version 2, a version 10, and again, when I'm saying version 2 or version 10, anything in between there will work. So if you have like a version 3 or something, those are all basically cross-compatible. So version 2 all the way to 10 will use a closed monitor switch. So if you have a closed monitor switch, get a version 2 through 10. If you don't have a closed monitor switch, your belt drive, then you can go you need to go version 11. So those are the main differences on these 2150 controls. Everything is gonna plug in exactly the same way. Again, if you don't have the closed monitor switch and you get a version 11, or if you get a version before 11, then it will not operate. You'll go through the learn cycle, door will come shut, and it won't understand that it's actually shut. It's looking for, it'll get stuck on the FC command for finding close. So hope this information helps, guys. Thanks for watching.